I had plans to do a cozy sourdough baking and meal prep day inside the house, but then we woke up to this. We knew that there was going to be a chance of snow today, but because this is the 1st of November and the leaves aren't even off the trees, we didn't take it very seriously. And we woke up this morning, everything is white, it's 25 degrees, and there's some things that desperately need to be done outside before anything else happens inside. After it was already dark outside last night, I remembered that there is a bed of carrots out there that I really don't want to freeze. And so I want to bring those in today. Cody also is wanting to move the chickens into their winter coop because they're not really enjoying this weather. Staying inside this morning, ladies?
The cows are pretty chill. They've got their round bale of hay. It's not cold enough yet that their water is freezing. So they're just hanging out, chilling, standing in the snow. The chickens are okay. They've got their shelter, but they are definitely not as happy with the cold and snow as the cows are, especially for their feed and water. With how little water there is in the bottom of here, this freezes really quickly out here. I went in the duck pen this morning, and it's warm enough because it's inside that it wasn't frozen at all in there. Even when we had a whole bunch of chickens and we would put them in the hoop house for the winter, it would get like negative temperatures outside, and a hoop house does stay warmer, but it's still gonna get down below freezing. So chickens can definitely handle that. They don't need supplemental heat, but they're just gonna be a little happier, and they'll probably lay more eggs if they are a little warmer. Last night, while Michelle was worrying about her carrots and nicely putting a blanket over them to protect them, I was taking care of all the garden hoses around here. I had forgotten about it. I knew that it was supposed to get cold enough that they'd freeze, but I'd kind of forgotten about them. And after dark last night, came out here and drained all the hoses and got that stuff all ready. So at least we don't have any hoses bursting from getting frozen or anything. This bedding is actually not that bad. It's pretty dry, not too dirty. So I think what I'm gonna do is take the bedding from out of here, put it in the outdoor part, because that'll probably get nasty pretty quick. And then I'll put some fresh bedding in here for the chickens. And that'll save me a little bit from needing to put fresh stuff everywhere. You might notice that our camera shots look a little different. Our nice camera was getting snow all over it and I didn't want to get it wet. So we got the action camera out here. It's a nice, handy little camera, but the shots aren't quite as nice. Hey, ducks got out. Chase them back in. This is also the last of the straw that I have here, but it'll be enough for today. I'll just need to get some more soon. A few of the chickens are out of the coop, so I guess first thing is I gotta get them all in there. I'll take you somewhere warm. Ah, come on. Let's go for a ride, chickens. Last winter was the first winter that we had this coop here, and I absolutely love it. I built it the way I wanted a chicken coop. Before, when we had like a couple hundred chickens, I had the hoop house over here. That worked really well, but it was total overkill for just having about 20 chickens, which I think right now we're in the teens with chickens. It's 8 foot by 12 foot. It's got windows in it, so it gets sunlight. And then I also built this outdoor run that's covered. And I think that's especially important to have outdoor space for them to go to get some fresh air, even some sunlight coming through the side, but that it's covered, because in the winter, if it's not covered, it's gonna get snow in there. It's gonna get all muddy and nasty. But if they've got some outdoor space that's covered, I think they're just gonna be a lot happier because they've got a lot more space to go. The only thing that this coop is lacking is electricity. I don't have electric run down here. When the hoop house was right over here, there was electric to that, and so I could run a short extension cord from there over to here, but I tore that hoop house down because it was just falling apart and I wasn't using it anymore. I could either run an electric line, but I don't want to do that because we're hopefully finding a new property sometime this winter, and then I don't feel like going to that extra work before we move is worth it. And I could run an extension cord. I don't like the idea of a really long extension cord all the way from up at the house down to here. I don't like that idea. So for now, the chickens will just have to do with the regular daylight hours. We won't be adding any artificial lighting. I've looked into using solar lights, but I haven't found a good way to put solar lights on a timer. I tried and tried, but I never got it to work right. I never found a good product that wasn't crazy expensive to do something like that. And for now, they don't really need this heated water. They'll need it once it gets really, really cold and the water starts freezing. But if it's just getting down into the 20s, it'll stay warm enough in there that they don't need the heated water thing. It's really easy. Even if it gets a little bit of ice on the water in there, it's easy to break off, but it won't freeze solid until it gets really cold outside. That move was so simple for the chickens with that new chicken coop. That was really easy. And now I think Michelle wants to harvest her carrots. But before Michelle does that, I want to show you what we got in our latest Thrive box, and it is a big one. Thrive Market is sponsoring today's video, and right now they have their 25% off cyber sale going until the 23rd of November, so be sure to get in on that. We're gonna start off here with what I would call some of the more boring stuff. Necessities, but not quite as fun as some of the other stuff in this box. Michelle uses a lot of avocado oil around here for cooking, mayonnaise, salad dressing, so she makes sure to stay stocked up on this. This is something she gets from Thrive Market, even though she could get it locally because she can get it for a really good price on there. Michelle ordered several bags of avocado oil potato chips. This can be hard to find, but it's really good to be able to have a snack like this or side dish like this that doesn't have seed oils in it. Michelle's favorite dishwashing detergent, 7th generation. Great Lakes collagen that we always stay stocked up on. And we've also got some almond butter here that we've been getting from Thrive Market. And now we're getting into more of the fun stuff. I know what this is, and I know we've already got some of this up in the cupboard, but I think Michelle got it for Christmas presents. This is like a healthy version of Nutella. It is so good. Christmas is coming. I know it's not here yet, but it is coming soon. And Thrive Market's gonna be a really good place to go for stocking stuffers. They've got a lot of healthy swaps. So things you might have put in stockings in the past, now you realize they're full of junk ingredients. You can find healthy swaps for those on Thrive Market. I got some fruit snacks to put in the stockings. And I also got these fruit rolls. You remember those snacks you used to have, or maybe the other kids in school used to have that you were jealous of, but they're full of junk ingredients? This is gonna be a really good healthy swap for that. We got these beef sticks just to have around here for a good snack with protein in it. And then we got these little Chomps beef sticks to put in stockings. We don't want everything going in the stockings to be sweet. And along with that, we got these fizzy bath things for the girls' stockings. These don't have any synthetic colors or fragrances. And so that's another thing that can go in the stocking. That's not just something sweet and sugary for them to eat. And then for what we've got left in here is some snacks to have around the house. Michelle loves these chia packs. They're kind of like the adult version of applesauce packs. We got some Kind bars because not everybody around here likes Lara bars for some reason. I don't know how that's possible, but they like the Kind bars instead. And then these dates. These dates from Thrive Market are the best dates we have found. Michelle uses them to make different desserts, and also they make just a great snack on their own. I mentioned earlier that right now they have their cyber sale going. And also, if you use the link in our description, thrivemarket.com/morethanfarmers, you can get 30% off your first order plus a free gift.
Like I said, last night I came out here and threw a quilt over my carrots. I know that you can leave carrots out over the winter, but I don't really like doing that because I just don't enjoy having to come out in the garden to pull things when I could just grab them out of my refrigerator. I have in the past had carrots that actually froze, the tops of them froze, and so then I had to just cut them up and put them in the freezer, which was super annoying. I'm really hoping that didn't happen. I didn't think of these until last night after it was dark and cold already. So I just threw this blanket over them, and I'm hoping that this was enough, like this insulation here of snow will also help keep them warm, so hopefully this will be fine. The tops are frozen, like as in the greens, but I already have my big fat storage carrots inside in my refrigerator, all taped up in bags and stuff. These are not gonna be like my long-term storage carrots. These are gonna be the ones that we eat fresh with like dip. I also would like to do something special with these this afternoon. Carrots that have been exposed to frost are much sweeter. These are the perfect size. They're tender and sweet and delicious. I cannot wait to eat these. I've been eating a daily carrot salad, and these are gonna just make it 10 times better. Ooh, those are perfect. The ones on the end got a little bit bigger. I should have probably planted these just a few weeks earlier. Normally it would be fine, but we had a bit of a drought this year, and so they didn't grow quite as fast there for a little bit, but it's fine. These will taste amazing, and I have 120 pounds of storage carrots inside, so we certainly aren't lacking for carrots. These carrots are Danver half long. I love this kind of carrot because they're always so easy to pull. The longer ones just don't grow quite as well for me, and they're also more prone to breaking off when you dig them. Danver half long has stored so incredibly well for us over the years. I've been growing them now for over a decade, and every year I just go back. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. My hands are freezing off. My mouth is frozen. I just want to quickly get this done and get inside. Normally, I would not wash carrots that I want as storage carrots. These, though, are fresh eating carrots, so I am going to wash them. I find that almost always with fall carrots, I do end up having to wash them. Oh, I can't do it. My hands are too cold. I'm going to go see if I can find some other gloves. I'll be right back. I'm still thawing out. This morning was very, very cold and my fingers are still stiff and frozen, but I want to quickly get going on some stuff in here. I did manage to get 2 sourdough things going this morning when we had a little bit of a break. I have tortillas and sourdough bread. These are both fresh milled and sourdough, and I'll take care of those later on in the afternoon. Right now, I want to get some broccoli seeds going. I like to do some sprouting in the months where we're not bringing in fresh greens. This is something that's super, super easy, and it packs a really big punch health-wise. I'm just going to put a scant tablespoon of these broccoli seeds into a quart jar. And then I cover these with a little bit of water, let them soak. And then every day I just rinse them, swirl them, drain them. And in like 4 to 5 days, I will have a nice jar full of sprouts. A bag of these seeds is kind of expensive. I think it's like $17, but this has lasted me for like 1.5 to 2 years now. So they go very far. I have these linked in our Amazon store because I had so many people asking about them. These sprouting lids are essentially just a little screen on the top that keeps bugs or anything like that out. And then you don't have to open the jar when you rinse. You can just pour it out, fill it back up. Very, very simple. Like I said before, I generally don't like to wash my carrots before I put them in the fridge, but these aren't gonna last that long. We're gonna eat these up within a few weeks probably. And today I'm gonna actually ferment some of these. Fermentation is something that I really want to be better at. I want to do more of it, but it's just hard for me to get it done. And my kids also were not raised eating fermented foods, and so it's hard to adjust their palates to fermented foods, but carrots are one thing that they will eat. Even our younger one will eat. They don't like just love them, but they definitely will eat them without complaining at a meal. And I would really like to get some good probiotics into our bodies. Last year, I ended up growing way too many carrots, and I had to feed a bunch of them to the chickens then come spring because we weren't able to use them all before they went bad. So this year I just decided to take it a little bit easier on the carrots. It's not necessarily a waste to give it to the chickens, at least not in my opinion, but I just didn't feel like it was the best use of my time. So I backed way off. Before I put these in bags though, I will definitely dry them off. I'll just lay them out on a towel or something and let them dry. You don't want to put wet carrots into a bag. They will just get slimy really fast. So I'm gonna ferment some of these today, and then the rest I'm gonna dry completely and put them into plastic bags, and I'll keep these in the refrigerator up here so that we can eat them fresh. These carrots are very fresh and they're also very young. They're not like big giant carrots. And so the skin on these is very, very tender. So I'm not even gonna peel these. I'm gonna give these another little scrub because these aren't as clean as I would want them to be. And then I'm just gonna pop these into jars. And then at every meal, I'm gonna try to pull these out and we'll eat a carrot or two before we have the rest of our meal. These are a great probiotic. I have heard that they have like in 1 teaspoon of a probiotic, like a homemade lacto-fermented food, you have more probiotics than you have in a whole bottle of the store-bought probiotics. Whether or not that's completely true, I don't know. I didn't do the research. It's just something I heard. But I do know this is such a great practice. It's something that's so simple. I'm just gonna put a little bit of hot water in the bottom to dissolve the salt. 2 tablespoons of salt for a quart of water. Shameless plug for Redmond Real Salt. We have been using this salt ever since we're married, and it's amazing. I do not want to put hot or even warm water over my carrots. I don't want them to get like rubbery or mushy or anything like that. I think part of the reason that we love the carrots so much, we call them dilly carrots, is because they're still crunchy and they're not, like peppers will get pretty mushy when they're fermented, but carrots just stay nice and crispy. This is dill that I dried from my raised bed this year. I'm just gonna put a nice amount over the tops of these. I should have put this in the bottom and just didn't really think about it, which is fine. Also a little bit of dill seed. You can do some garlic in there. We just prefer it without the garlic. I don't like to have anything poking out the top because if there's stuff poking out the top, it can get moldy. So I like to kind of pack it in there then after the brine is in there. I got these cool little airlocks already last year and just haven't used them yet. These are gonna make so that I don't have to burp the jars because they have a tiny little hole up here that will make so that the air can release on its own. You definitely don't need these. But if you don't have them, you want to be sure to burp your jars every day. Now I can literally set these on the back of my counter and they will ferment for probably, I don't know, I'm going to say 4 days. Carrots are a very firm vegetable, so they're not going to ferment quite as fast as like a green bean or something. They'll start getting all bubbly and they just kind of taste like a very mildly pickled carrot once they're done.
We humans like to have things predictable. We like our 3 meals a day, Friday paychecks, and our Amazon packages to arrive on time. We like our schedules to stay consistent, and we can get frustrated when plans have to change. We gardeners like to know when the first and last frost dates are, but if you've been gardening for more than a year or two, you know that you can't completely rely on those predictions. We can count on the sun coming up and going down, and in our part of the world, we can count on having 4 seasons, but beyond that, nature is unpredictable. We weren't counting on snow this early. Michelle thought she'd planted her carrots soon enough, but then we went through a drought. And I'm going to show you something else later on in the video that we didn't count on either. But homesteading has helped us learn to adapt to difficult situations and become stronger people. Plants freeze, crops fail, cows escape their fences, chickens stop laying eggs. Things can get a little rough or disappointing at times, but it's also one of the most rewarding lives you can live. The first shoots popping out of the ground in the spring, taking a fresh vegetable straight from the garden into the house to feed your family, watching a mama cow take care of her newborn calf, or seeing your kids run free in the sunshine. And beyond those kinds of rewards, we can also see that this lifestyle has led us into a deeper trust in someone greater than ourselves. We do the best we can with what we know, and then we leave the rest up to the one who created all of it, knowing that no matter what happens, we'll be okay.
These tortillas will make the perfect wraps for some tacos that we're gonna have this week. Every time I post anything about whole grain tortillas on my Instagram, I get tons and tons of questions. The way I get them so nice and thin and pliable is by rolling them out. I don't use a tortilla press at this point. I just haven't found one that gets them thin enough. The recipe that I used for these was the recipe from Farmhouse on Boone. It asks for all-purpose flour. Whenever a recipe asks for all-purpose flour and I wanna switch it over to whole grain, especially fresh milled, I do 130 grams of wheat berries per cup of all-purpose flour. The problem with trying to switch from all-purpose flour to fresh milled flour is that fresh milled flour is very fluffy. And so when you just do it cup by cup, the weight can be very different from a cup of all-purpose that's been sitting in a bag for a long time and that's nice and compacted versus the fluffy fresh milled flour. I also like to stack these when they're hot. That kind of like keeps some moisture in them and it keeps them nice and pliable. I store these in the refrigerator in between, like we're not gonna eat all of these in one sitting. I store them in the fridge and then when I get them out, I just plop them onto a heated cast iron skillet like this just for a couple seconds on each side and you've got your nice pliable tortilla back again.
We've been noticing a funny smell in here by the onions. I think some of them are maybe rotten. I know for sure there are a few. These little ones right here that Michelle kept separate, there's a couple of them rotting in there, so they need to be separated out. Not only will it make a funny smell, but if we've got some onions getting rotten in here, they can also affect the other onions, so we need to get those separate. Michelle has noticed that a couple of the onions that she's brought up to use in the kitchen had some rotten stuff inside. They don't seem to be storing as well as they usually do, and we're not quite sure why. They did something a little funny this year. After going through that drought and heat that we had, the stalks or the stems started turning like white or tan instead of staying green like they usually do. And we found out later that it's something called sun scald, which I don't know that it should necessarily affect the actual onion itself, but I don't know if that's contributing to that or not, but somehow they just seem to not be storing as well. Yeah, here's one. Squishy, nasty. Definitely most of them are fine. It's just that a few of them here and there Michelle has been noticing, and then like that rotten one I just found. And that could even possibly be the only rotten one that we're smelling. Who knows? But I'm gonna have to go through all of these. With the sun scald and whatever other random things we had going on this year, like the potato virus, it seems like every year there's something. And that's not something to like be down about. It's just the way that life is. We, with animals, with the gardens, we are working with living things. And there's another one. And when you're working with living things, things just happen. And it's something that you just have to adjust to. And as time goes on, I think we get a little better at staying resilient when things happen. We've decided that, you know, if our potatoes don't do as well, our sweet potatoes did really well, and we can make up for that by eating more meals with sweet potatoes in it. If our onions don't do quite as well, we'll use less onions. You gotta find ways to adapt and make changes where you need to, and that's part of the beauty of homesteading, I guess. It's not always fun to have to do without something that you want, but it's probably good for you. Yeah, there's a rotten one. I think that a bunch of the tops of these are getting soft.
Yeah, I think so too.
Michelle couldn't hold herself back. She's seeing me pull out these onions that might have a little bit of rotten stuff in it, and she wants to check them out herself, so I'll leave it up to her.
So hard to tell. Ew! Basically what's been happening is I have been grabbing onions for my Monday meal prep, and quite a few of them, like not all of them, but quite a few of them are just starting to rot, like right here at the stem, right at the belly button. And I have this hunch that I should have harvested them earlier. I wanted to leave them out in the garden as long as possible because this cold room wasn't very cold yet. And the sun scald, I think, just kind of did a bit of a number on them, and I should have brought them in earlier as soon as I saw the sun scald, but I didn't. It wasn't something I had ever dealt with before. And so I wasn't quite sure how to handle it, and I checked them to see if they were rotten, and they weren't. They were totally fine, but I probably should have brought them in sooner. The ones that I'm not quite sure about, I'm just gonna put in a maybe crate, and I'm just gonna use all of those first. Most of these I can salvage most of the onion. It's just like the core is starting to rot just a little bit. Ooh, this is not normal. This is not how my onions normally act. Last year, I legit had onions that were still good the next spring. These are just not faring well. What I'm starting to notice is the ones that are black on the top right here, those are the ones that are a little bit juicy, and those are the ones that are starting to rot. And so now I kind of have an idea of which ones need to go in the off crate. It's the ones that are like a little runny at the top. I would say it's about a third of them, honestly, which is discouraging. The Red Wing ones did not do well. Almost every single red one is rotten. Thankfully, I knew that these didn't do well, so most of those are preserved in jars on my canning shelves already, but I'm just glad that I was like, had the intuition that these aren't gonna store well and just put them all in jars, because almost every single one of them is rotten. The long and the short of it with these onions, I'm gonna have to throw out the completely rotten ones, which there's not many of those. There's just like a handful of those. And then the rest of them, I'm just gonna have to go through the bins every now and then, every couple weeks, and just check to see if they're going bad, because these are just not going to store as long as the ones did last year. I don't have a great solution. I did freeze them, but when I froze them, they smelled up the entire freezer. It was so bad. And then everything else in the freezer smells and tastes like onions. So I'm not really sure how to preserve these. If you guys have great ideas, just drop them in the comments of how you would preserve onions. These crates here are the all good ones. And then this is the maybe crate. Oh. And this is the disgusting nastiness vomit crate that we're gonna throw out.
I lifted this crate up and there are nasty juices coming out of the bottom, so to just get it upstairs, I'm gonna have to use this box. Oh, it smells so disgusting. Ugh. Need to get this out of my life. It smells so disgusting. Even though the onions might not have been as successful as we would have wanted them to be, we were very successful with a lot of other things. And if you want to see the other stuff that we've got in our cold cellar and the rest of our food storage, you can watch this video next.
You need to wipe the juices up.
Not right now. Don't forget to use the link in the description and check out Thrive Market's 25% off cyber sale that's going until November 23rd.